Alright, so I made cornbread. It's 1 cup of cornmeal, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 to 4 tablespoons sugar. I think I added in 3, but I'm not positive. 4 teaspoons baking powder, a half teaspoon salt, 1 cup of milk, but I really like to use buttermilk. I just didn't have any that day, and I know you can add lemon or vinegar to it and actually make buttermilk, but that night I was in a hurry, so I just put it together. I mixed up the dry ingredients before I added the milk in, but then I added 1 cup of milk, 1 egg, and 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Mixed it up until it was a good batter, and then while that was going, I took a cast iron skillet and I put it on the stove and I got it hot. I just turned the eye on and let it get hot so that when I was ready to put it in, it would be hot and ready. As you can hear, there's a sizzle. Poured the batter in and then baked it at 425 degrees for about 20 minutes. I think it actually stayed in a little bit longer and it got a little more brown than I like, but everybody loved it. Now, I didn't personally eat any because it has sugar and I don't like sugar in my cornbread. So one thing about this is the Aunt Jemima golden cornbread recipe that used to be on the bags when it was still Aunt Jemima golden cornbread. I don't know if their new brand has the same recipe on it or not. It might, but this is one. It's written in my book that I've had for quite a few years. My binder's actually coming apart, but I might have to buy a new one at Hobby Lobby because it's starting to tear, and this is full of my go-to recipes. Alright, the next thing I made was a venison meatloaf, and for the venison meatloaf I used 2 pounds of venison. Now, I'm using the recipe from the Dining on a Dime cookbook, but I did make a few changes to it. And I will say this, my family have not been huge meatloaf fans, but I made this for our family and for my mother and father-in-law. And in doing so, I forgot to put in the egg that was in the recipe, but I think I will never put an egg in a meatloaf again because we really did prefer it without it. So this has 2 pounds of ground deer venison, 1 cup of milk, and then to that I added a half teaspoon salt, a half teaspoon dry mustard, a half teaspoon pepper, a half cup dry breadcrumbs, which I actually am about to switch attachments on this in a moment, and I'll add the breadcrumbs after changing the attachment. I also added, this was not in the recipe, about a tablespoon worth of dehydrated garlic. I also added a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. I don't care if I said that right or not. Y'all know what that is. It actually only called for 1 tablespoon, but I put in 2 because my mother-in-law said she likes the flavor of it, so I thought I would add that to it. After I changed it to the paddle, that's when I added in the dry breadcrumbs, and I used Italian breadcrumbs because that's what I had and I'm trying to use them up. So I mixed all that until it was well incorporated. Alright, once I had all of that in there and it was well incorporated, I put it into a greased meatloaf pan and I put some KC Masterpiece barbecue sauce on it. That's just what I had in the refrigerator, so I used it. and I baked it for about an hour at 350. Alright, so I'll give you a little update on my cross stitch. As I had shown, I'd finished all this. I still haven't backstitched this, but I wanted to do the cross across. So I started with this last night and filled in this part, and then working my way across and filling in as I go. So it's coming along. If you hear noises, I'm not sure if it's a dog or my kids or what, but there's a scratchy noise. But I have a busy day ahead. I've got dishes to do, I've got laundry to do, and kids are all home today. They don't have school on Fridays, so it's going to be a busy day. And I didn't get very much sleep, so I might be taking a nap. Hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day.